Good morning, boys and girls, and happy Monday. Today I'm going to read you a story called Rosie Revere, Engineer. It's a little bit of a longer one, but I think it's going to be a really good one. This is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Lilac Year's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie sat shyly, not daring to speak. Oh, so she was a shy little girl. Wonder which one she was. Look at the picture. Somebody who's feeling shy. Means they don't want to share. They don't like to talk very much. They're quiet. But when no one saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer stash. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves. So she liked to build. An engineer is a person who likes to build things and design things. And that was what her special talent was. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. Ooh, look how cool that picture is. Look at all the things she's making. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under the bed where they'd never be seen. So she made all these cool things, but she didn't really like other people to see them, it seems. I wonder why. When Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooping over one eye and made fine inventions for uncles and aunts, a hot dog dispenser and helium pants. You see the guys' helium pants? They're like balloons. Over here. The uncle she loved most was zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head, from parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps pythons away. Bring this closer so you can see the pictures better. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud, but Fred slapped his knees and he chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wheezed and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat and then looked away. I love it, Fred hooted. Oh, truly I do. But Rosie Revere knew that could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of her shelf, and after that day she kept her dreams to herself. Oh, he laughed at her design. He laughed at what she made him. He laughed at her. So it made her not want to share anymore. That's pretty sad, isn't it, boys and girls? And that's how it went until one autumn day, her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great-great-aunt Rose was a true dynamo who worked building airplanes a long time ago. She told Rosie tales of the things she had done and goals she had checked off her list one by one. She gave a sad smile as she looked to the sky. The only thrill left on my list is to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to an old lady's dreams. So her old aunt came over, and her aunt was also an engineer, and her aunt was making her dreams come true. She was checking all the things off her to-do list. But the one thing she wasn't able to do was fly. You think they're going to make it happen? Do you think they're going to figure out how to fly? That night, as Rosie lay wide-eyed in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at the cheese hat and said, "No, not I." But questions are tricky and some hold on tight, and this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So when dawn approached and red streaks lit the sky, young Rosie knew just how to make her aunt fly. Oh, she was thinking a lot about this question. Let's see, do you think Rosie's going to be able to help her? She worked and she worked till the day was half gone, then hauled her cheese copter out onto the lawn to give her invention a test just to see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. Sometimes we make things and they don't come out very good, right? Sometimes we do trial and error. That's okay though. That's what engineers and inventors do. Sometimes they make things and they don't go as planned, but that teaches you a lesson and you try again. So let's see if this one works. Oh, look at this page. Strapped into the cockpit, she flipped on the switch. The Hello Cheese Copter sputtered and twitched. It floated a moment and whirled round and round, then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. Uh-oh, did it work? No. You think she should be sad that it didn't work? Let's see. Then Rosie heard laughter and turned round to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed till she wheezed and her eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who thought, oh no, never, not again, will I try to build something to sputter or spin, or build with a lever, a switch, or a gear, and never will I be a great engineer. Is that growth mindset? No. She has to learn from her mistakes and try again, not get sad and say she'll never do it. She turned round to leave, but then great Aunt Rose grabbed hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close, and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. You did it! Hooray! It's a perfect first try. This great flop is over. It's time for the next. Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. I failed, said dear Rosie. It just made of trash. Didn't you see it? The cheese copter crashed. Yes, said her great aunt. It crashed, that is true. But first it did just what we needed it to do. Before it crashed, Rosie, before that, it flew. So it might not have worked how she wanted it to, but it still worked. So now they have something to build on for a second try. We'll look at her blueprints. Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next. She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. Remember, we say that it's only a problem if you quit, but if you try and try your hardest, you could succeed. They worked till the sun sneaked away to its bed. Aunt Rose tied her headscarf around Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear to dream the bold dreams of a great engineer. At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 build gizmos and gadgets and doohickeys too. With each perfect failure, they all stand and cheer, but none quite as proudly as Rosie Revere. The end. So this book teaches us an important lesson about growth mindset, that even when we make mistakes, we need to try again. We learn from our mistakes and we keep going, because we're going to have lots of mistakes in our life, and when we build things, they're not always going to go the way we planned the first time. Sometimes we might have to edit it and fix it up and learn from those mistakes, and that's why I think this is a very special story, and I think Rosie Revere taught us a really big lesson. All right, boys and girls, so that story was our 308th story. On Friday, we read our 307th. This is our 308th story of kindergarten. We're going to read many more stories this week. We're going to change this number and see how high we could get it this week. Boys and girls, have a great Monday. I hope you get to get outside. It's pretty nice outside. Maybe you could even make some inventions like Rosie. Talk to you soon, boys and girls.